It's Pretty Morg.
And it's Charming Joe.
And we are here with a brand new
And
episode.
a brand new season.
Season 2.
Of Evolution of Us.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, new backdrop, new lighting, new setup. Yes. We're going big. We're going home.
Very comfortable.
Yep.
I love the chairs. I love the colors. This was your idea, by the way. This is his idea. Was. He wanted to do the wall, the lights. He's like, let's do a whole new setup.
But this gold color was this is your idea. To paint it gold and to have the gold accents with the microphones. So it was a collective effort or collaborative effort.
It was.
But what's up, man? Y'all missed us?
I know.
We missed y'all. What's going on? Season 2, episode 1.
Yes.
We lit.
We are. I miss this setting. I do.
I miss it.
I do.
A lot of things have changed in our life since season 1.
A lot.
One being obvious. This one walking around. We got a dog.
We do.
His name is Keikos.
Mm-hmm.
He's been an adventure for both of us since we had him.
Yes.
We just recently got him though, so he's still trying to adjust and learn who we are as well as we trying to learn who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're gonna get along pretty well.
I kind of stumbled on that a little bit.
I am, because he's been a lot so far, but I love him. He's okay. He's just busy.
He is very busy. Very busy.
What we got going on, babe?
But for those of you who don't know, welcome to Evolution of Us,
yes.
DMV's best. Because we're not new anymore.
We're not new.
But we are the best podcast in the
we
DC,
are.
Maryland, and Virginia area.
But what makes us so good? Like, people would say what about us? If you were looking at us, if you were on the outside looking in, you would say the best quality that we have is what?
We keep it real.
Oh my God.
We do. We just keep it real.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
We're not trying to be perfect.
That would have been my answer.
You know, even before we press play, I was like, is my hair okay? Is this? I'm like, you know what? We're down to earth.
We are.
We're just trying to talk, communicate with everybody, the people.
And relate. That's all.
Yeah, we're not trying to just do too much.
It's a conversation. We're just trying to relate and connect with the people.
Exactly.
But yes, but tune in.
Yeah.
Please subscribe. Comment. Please
Mm-hmm.
subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely, this is for you guys. We're here for you.
Yep.
And we need your support. Anything you guys want to hear from us, any topics we haven't discussed yet. Don't jump the gun because it may be coming in season 2 or season 3. We'll see. But definitely all your ideas, write them down, DM us.
Yep.
Or leave a comment down below.
Yep.
But you know what time it is, right?
Time to take
it's always time to love yourself. That's something we are not changing.
Right.
Going into season 2, we're going to continue to love each other and love ourselves and take a shot with it.
We are. We definitely are. And we already got it poured up. So cheers.
Better know it.
Cheers to you, baby. Season 2.
And she poured this. I'm not sure what it is, but we're about to figure it out. Woo!
Yes.
Strong. Got to keep the handshake in there.
Yes.
We actually thought about adding something to the handshake, like every season. We just give you guys something extra with the handshake so you can kind of grow with us.
Yes.
And it'll get longer and longer and longer and longer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come in at like season 4 or 5, you're like, oh my God, the handshake is so long. Well, it's like you got to watch all the other seasons to see how we started and see where we are now.
Right.
But stay tuned. We'll see.
Yes. Stay tuned.
What we talking about today, baby?
Today,
you look nice, by the way.
Thank you so much.
You got on. Look nice.
Thank you. It's cold, so we've had really good weather in the DMV area.
We have.
And it got cold.
Yes.
It was like 47 degrees this morning, and I kind of underestimated it, y'all. I put on like a sweatshirt and some pants real quick to walk the dog, and I was cold. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was cold. But by the time I got up and got out with him for the second walk, it was pretty cool. It was like 65 degrees outside, so it wasn't too bad. But I like this sweater. It's cute.
Thank you. We both look nice, matching the aesthetic.
Luxury.
Everything is luxury.
I'm just a squirrel in your world. That's all, baby.
As long as you know. But no, today's topic is flock or flee.
Okay.
And I like this topic so much because everybody can relate to it, girls and guys. You know, when you're out and you're in that, not even dating phase, you could just be out anywhere. You could be at the grocery store. You could be at the daycare. You could be walking your dog.
Right.
And you run into the opposite sex. Now, for women, I feel like we don't have a hard time talking to men. I don't think we tense up as much, but I feel like for men, it's a little opposite.
I beg to differ.
Oh, really?
As far as you guys initiating conversation or just already in dialogue?
I just mean as far as in passing. I feel like men tend to have to think a lot more about pickup lines and what I'm going to say to keep this conversation going. Where I feel as more women have a more natural, subtle attitude towards things. And they're like, hey,
Attitude would actually be the best word to describe what the responses typically are. I mean, it's like I think Drake said it, but sweatpants, I'm sorry, not sweatpants, but maybe it wasn't Drake. It was a rapper who said she takes pride in dressing up, going out and saying nah. You know what I'm saying? And I think stuff like that, it plagues our minds, and it kind of it gives us this apprehension when we first meet a woman or see a woman that we may be interested in. And it's almost like I don't think she's out my league, but she could be, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think men think about that more.
What is she wearing? What designer is this? If she hopped out the vehicle, what kind of car she driving? You know what I'm saying? And it kind of gives us a second. We got to take a second to kind of like analyze ourselves. Like, am I confident enough to go talk to her? But sometimes we're not. And I see it like time in and time out, like time and time again, where men just are not confident to go talk to women. And I don't know if it's because we don't have the conversation, like you said, like the pickup lines. I think it's just the rejection. And it's not even always because you guys don't like us. It's just you guys take pride in knowing, oh, I could have had him, or I could have had him, or the girl, guess how many guys tried to talk to me tonight, or yeah, he came over and talked to me earlier. I said no. Like you guys take so much pride and put so much emphasis on saying no. And
that's good.
I kind of wonder why. I've never really experienced too much of it.
I like that.
Not too much, but I have. And I'm trying to figure out, like, where's that come from? Like, you guys not trying to waste your time? Is it because you can see a mile away the BS?
No.
Is it a game? Because I feel like sometimes it's a game for you guys. It's really a game.
Well, hold on. Two things. Women, I feel like depending on, especially your age group, I feel like it's also what you're looking at. Because I don't care what anybody says, like, oh, looks aren't everything, but that's the first thing you see. And you judge people based off the first little small interaction of conversation. And based on where you are in life, it could kind of not be so much pride. It could be like, I know what I need, and just off this little interaction, I'm a flea.
Right.
So that could be that as well. But also with women, we are always the prize in our mind. Like, we always want to be captured. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of women, they do play this little game thing because it's like, catch me if you can. I'm the prize. I'm the treat.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I feel like they play that a little bit too much sometimes, to the point where you make the man flee because you're playing too many games.
Right.
But I think it's a little give and take based off mindset and based off of how much you value being the prize. Like, women, we're raised to think that we're the catch. Like, we're the catch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially if you had a father in your life, you know, men a good one at that. And especially if you saw him treat your mother right, or you saw him treat other women correctly, like, he's going to be training his daughter, like, look, don't let no man play with you. You don't need to be, you know, swept off your feet by a couple compliments because your daddy told you first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know you're beautiful. You already know you're pretty. You already know that you're the catch, or you're loved, or you know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to get swept off your feet by minimal action or minimal effort. And that's what some guys give. They give minimal effort. And if she has any idea, because I'm gonna be honest, all of you guys aren't the prize. It's just that simple. Yeah. All women are not the prize. Some of you have some real work to do, and you guys mess up on a lot of men and miss out on a lot of opportunities because you think way too highly of yourselves. And I think that's also a problem. I think sometimes we kind of put ourselves in a place because we're distracted or we're influenced by what this girl or this guy may be doing, and we think that that's who we are or that's what we're supposed to be. And I think that a lot of us need to be real with who we are. We need to also understand, like, if I was in this person's shoes, how would I want them to react, or how would I feel if they reacted to me this way? I don't think a lot of us are very transparent with that.
I like that a lot.
And for women, I think they have, and I guess in his head, like, it's never okay to ever go up and talk to a guy first, which is a whole nother topic.
Well,
so how do you feel about? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just like what you said about dads, like, being in their lives, as far as, you know, when you're a young girl and dads always uplift their daughters to feel like they're princesses and everything like that. Do you ever think they take it too far to the point where you get older and then you don't have a lot of accountability? Nothing's wrong with you. Just from a father's standpoint, a man's standpoint, do you ever feel like dads, they instill a little bit too much of the goodness and hierarchy and don't do this and don't do that, could it be because of what they know as a man,
right,
how they are and what's out there, or are they really trying to instill?
It's hard because that's why both parents are super important. The mom is able to give you more of that balance. Yeah. Like, hey, sweetheart, this is what you need to work on. While the man is there to also lift you up. So they're there to kind of push and pull a little bit and kind of make sure you always stay grounded. And I think sometimes you can have or receive a little bit too much praise or not enough criticism. Yep. Or too much criticism. So too much praise or too much criticism. And it kind of steers you in you don't know which direction to go in, which is why you have some females who are very promiscuous. Yes. And then some females who, I don't care how much money you got. Right. I got me. You know what I'm saying? And you have to sometimes have that balance, because both of those women, both of those attributes to me push men away. Right. If you're a little bit too easy, oh man, well, she easy. There's no way in heaven or hell I'm going to ever give her my all, or ever give her my heart, or ever give her my love. Right. Because it comes by too easy for her. You know what I'm saying? She's way too easy. At the drop of a dime, I take her to a nice dinner. That's it. That's all it takes. Yeah. I compliment her shoes. I buy her some shoes. That's all it takes. Right. And while other women can be a little too strong, where it takes moving mountains and building hospitals just to get her to text you back. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. So I'm serious, because men, we really do, because all of us aren't dogs. All of us aren't, you know what I'm saying, players, and all of us don't want to be in the streets for the rest of our lives. Some of us want to settle down and want to find the right one. And it's hard to kind of weed through which one is the right one when you're trying to almost weed through how she was raised and how she was brought up and what she sees, what she's influenced by. So I think it's a father can play that part, but so can a mother, because if a father's job is to esteem and uplift, but a mother's job to me is also to ground the woman and to make sure she understands how to be submissive and what it looks like to support your man and to be his rib and his backbone. Right. So you have to have the balance between both. But yeah, does that answer your question? It does. I like that answer a lot. I just wanted to touch on that because I've experienced that, and I've also had friends, the daughter. Yeah. My dad, he changes my tire for me, and he does this, and he buys my mom flowers every week, and I'm not dating no man that doesn't buy me flowers every week. I'm like, sis, look, I know you like what you see is nice, but you can't rule out men because of not getting flowers every week. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Right. But yeah, I like that answer. But you were going to ask me something. I'm so sorry. I was going to ask you why. How do you feel about women approaching men first? I think women approaching men, I think two things. Is it okay? Let me make it more personable. Yeah. Do you do that? Have you ever approached a man first? I have in the past, and I'm gonna be honest, I've been written off. I feel like it's two things. I feel like sometimes when you're a woman and you approach a man, the chemistry changes because some men can't handle, I don't want to say being the catch, but some men take their ego to another level. Right. If a woman approaches a man, sometimes the man steps back from initiation the whole time of the dating process. It's like, well, she approached me. She wanted me. She da-da-da-da. So that's really good. I'm doing minimal because I already know she wanted me. I think a man's nature is to chase. So I'm not saying don't approach men, but also just look at the red flags, look at the signs. If you feel like a man feels like he don't got to do much because he knows the woman already wants him, so all he has to do is the minimal. I feel like that's the issue. Why women really don't walk up to men first, because they feel like I have too much control. Like I got to plan the date. He doesn't say anything. He knows I want him now. I'm chasing him. It's his nature to chase me as a man. So I think that comes into play. That's good. That's a really good answer, actually. I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, you like that? As it pertains to like not even just the conversation now, but if this goes somewhere, like, am I gonna be the one always, hey babe, it's Tuesday, can we have a date tonight? We haven't been on a date in a couple months, or let's plan something very intimate, or let's who takes over the household and who's cooking tonight? Am I always doing the chores? do I take the trash out as a woman? Like,
yeah, and I don't
you
care.
know, and it's some women are like, and you meet men, some men, because they, like you said, they feel like they were the catch because they were approached 1st. I'm not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come around. I'm gonna be the face because you clearly stepped to me because of what I look like, and that's all I'm bringing to the table. I'm gonna do. Or if I am doing something, it's gonna be very, very minimal. Yeah, very minimal.
And not to cut you off, but this is a finesse generation. Absolutely. I don't care how good of a woman you think you are, good of a man you think you are, how good your intentions are. Right. If somebody's coming up to you or you're going up to them, finesse is the first thing on this generation's mind. Like, you know, what has he got? What's he doing? How's this gonna go? That's just how it is. So it's like at the end of the day, it's like for a man, he has to sometimes he has to step it up a little bit to make sure that the woman wants him. But if you're approaching him first, you know,
here's a word. That's almost like
sometimes the word,
skipping steps almost.
Yeah, like I don't got to too much.
And I saw something on Instagram one day. It said men are dating bodies while women are now dating pockets. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's no more romance. It's no more romance, but there's no more realness. There's no more, you know, or that's a lot more ulterior motives. It's always a reason why, you know what I'm saying? And you can never really trust anybody. And if you do something nice for me, it's almost like, well, are you expecting something back? Like, what made you call me and tell me that? What made you say this to me? Or when you could send a woman a good morning text, how many other girls are you sending a good morning text to? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're just so trained not to trust. Yeah, and it's hard on both sides. I'm gonna say for both sides, for both men and women. You know what I'm saying? And I think it really boils down to being accountable and being a man or being a woman of your word, and really just making sure you're being the best person you can be. Because when you're the best person you can be, it's going to show and it's going to shine. And if you get two people who are on the same wave, who are equally yoked, who both want to bring out the best in themselves and then in each other, you guys should have issues like that.
Yeah, yep, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that yeah, it's a doggy dog world out there. It is. It really is. No pun intended. It is. And you want to pray for the right one. You know what I'm saying? And you want to just make sure you get them, and y'all just duck off, and you guys start to build together because you can't trust everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot that goes into just approaching someone. What do you think men can do to be more? To be taken serious a lot more. When you're talking to someone, and it's not because you're talking to them because you saw how big their heart was. I didn't see how honest you were when I saw you in the club with that skirt on. Let's just be real. That's not what happened. But I want to know, what can a man do for him to be considered or to be taken a lot more serious? Because our conversations sometimes they start and they stop where we met them at. Okay. So if we don't have a real connection, I don't really remember you tomorrow. If the connection's not really there, okay, you're the third out of four numbers I got tonight. What's going to help you stand apart and stand out? So what can we do to be taken more serious?
I feel like a man's word is everything to him, right? So I feel like as a woman, if you know that about a man, if he says he's going to do something,
hold him to that standard.
Yeah, if him sticking to that, like if he says that he's going to come over, cook, put your feet up, whatever, it's the small things, just doing something like that, but he stuck to his word and he put a lot of effort in it. Right. I feel like when you give, it's like go big or go home. Right. When you give all this effort and you do all this, you know, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. It makes the woman take you serious because it's like, oh my God, like he really said he was going to do X, Y, and Z. He came, and maybe he over exceeded your expectations, or it was exactly what you thought in your head, but he did it. Right. And I think as far as being taken serious, I feel like the effort has to be like 100%. I feel like do what you say you're going to do. Don't renege. I've experienced with friends where they're like, yeah, he said we were going to go to eat. And girl, we ended up somewhere walking around doing something. And this is not what I wanted. I can't take him serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't renege on what you say you're going to do. I feel like that is something. And then also, stuff that she likes. Like, if you know, for me, I love cleaning. I love candles. Like, he knows what I like. So I feel like as far as seriousness, if he's listening to what I like and he's taking initiative to do it himself, he's being submissive, and it's, for me, it's like, oh my gosh, like I like that he's listening to what I'm saying. Like he's taking initiative to do things, that small things. Like, for example, let's say candles is one thing, but we were watching a commercial yesterday and there was a specific brand candle. And I was like, oh, I love that candle. But I felt like he was so in tune to it, knowing how he is. He would do something really romantic and be like, I got this candle months later or something like that when I'm not paying attention. Like, how you know I like this candle? It's little stuff like that where women can take men serious because they know that he's listening and he's going to stick by his word and do what he said he's going to do. Right. Which also goes with like providing, finances, trusting. That's how you build a character of a man, like what you see him doing. Right. So I feel like, at least for me, I like that.
And that's good, because what I think what happens is, if that were to be the case, if men were taken more serious, I think that they would feel like that they could, that it wouldn't be a woman. Okay, she's not out my league. You know what I'm saying? Like when I approach women, the only reason why you don't feel like you can get her is because you feel insecure about yourself. There's something you're lacking. There's something I'm not really dating right now for purpose, and I know she probably is. You don't know it, but it kind of looks like she could be dating for. She walks with a stride. Her shoulders are up. Her head is up. Like she looks like she has a purpose in life, and she's probably not just out here just looking for a good time. But she's not young anymore. And I think if more men held themselves to their own word and held themselves to being more accountable, they would feel more secure about approaching other women. Because it all comes down to confidence. Yeah, it does. And confidence, you have to build that through your works, through not be self-absorbed, but being reflective and being introspective of yourself. And I think that when you guys now, and we're talking about once you guys are already in the relationship, things are going well and things you should be doing already. But before it gets there, you can get a whole lot of stuff out the way. You can really kind of sense when a person's being serious in the beginning when you guys approach. Right. Like, what are you talking about when you approach a woman? Right. You know what I'm saying? What's your number? You want to get a drink after this? You want to go to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to come over? I got a party. You want to, like, what's your conversation? Like, did you leave something on my mind before we parted ways that I thought about? So now when you call me or text me tomorrow, so important. Oh yeah, you know what? This is so and so from last night. Now I'm interested. Now I'm more intrigued. I want to know what else you got stored up in this brain now. And now, for right now, I'm taking you serious. Yes. So I think conversation sometimes can kind of deter a man from approaching a woman, because most men, to me, I'm a man and I've been out. We don't really have a lot to say when we approach you guys. It's the same. Hey, how you doing? Hey, and then sometimes it's not even a hey, how you doing? It's hey, excuse me, mama. Hey, shawty. Hey, sweetheart. It's there's just completely out of order. No etiquette. It's no respect. Walk up to her. Eye contact is so important. I preach eye contact all the time with any conversation. Always eye contact. Like, eye contact. You have glasses on. I know I did, but you can see my eyes. Anyway, eye contact. And put something on her mind. Let her leave with something other than your name and your number. Put something here so that when she leaves, she's thinking about it later on down the line, and later on tonight. So she's excited. Now she might not text or call you first, but she can't wait till you do it. Right? I can't wait. I ain't text you 10 friends. Girl, he ain't text me yet. It's like 9 a.m. So get up. Girl, get up. You know what I'm saying? He ain't had his breakfast yet. Right. You know what I'm saying? I know, but now she's anticipating that text or that call because of what happened the night before. And I think we have to just get better at that. But that comes from just honestly working on ourselves when we aren't dating. Right. And a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us don't work, and this goes for men and women. A lot of us do not work on ourselves when we're not dating, so that when we are dating, we have a lot of stuff already put into perspective. And I think that's very important. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely would agree.
What are some things that are, or that could be considered way too heavy for a first conversation? And what are some things that are completely okay to talk about when you guys first meet? Right? Because we don't really understand sometimes what's appropriate and what's not. I don't need to know all your business. The question, what's your name? Okay, where you from? What do you do for work? But at some point, those 3 or 4 questions, they're very surface, and you want to know the answer to those questions. But where does the conversation go from there?
I know, right? And it's like
and what direction should it not go in? Should I be talking about sex on the first?
No.
On the I mean, but it happens.
It does.
And then and not only and it's not necessarily like, hey, you want to go right quick or you want to head out but what you're asking me and your tone, it can kind of lead me to believe, okay, he only has one thing on his mind. I can tell. Or she only has one thing on her mind. How much money I got.
Right.
So what are ways or what are some actual questions that you can ask the person at the beginning?
I think deeper, meaningful questions about the person themselves.
Oh, you think deep questions when you first meet
meaningful questions, okay. Not like why did you and your ex break up? Like, you know what I'm saying? I just mean like deeper, meaningful
I like
questions.
That question,
like not in the first realm.
Whose fault was it? And watch it.
Women don't like that. She never says
I
don't think from what I experienced with my friends and other women, we don't want to talk about your ex a lot like that. Like we'll get to that obviously, but not in the first interim. Like, you know,
it's funny because I'm the exact opposite. I don't mind asking that question.
Yeah, you want to get to the nitty gritty early, and I get that because you want to know if you're wasting your time.
Yeah, I really want to because to me, honestly, and I've never personally, I've never experienced where I asked a woman why her and her ex broke up, and she started off with, "I'll be honest, I probably was the one to blame for this one." I've never in my life that I can recollect on and think, and I'm thinking, and I do not remember having one conversation with the female who said that.
Mm-hmm.
That leads me to believe
no woman ever.
That leads me to believe, or has led me to believe, every time someone breaks up in a relationship, it's automatically the man's fault. How's that possible?
That's not true, but yeah.
So and honestly, I'm gonna say this when I hear it, and she kind of goes into depth because most women, to be honest, they actually go into depth while they're and their ex broke up because of course no one has a problem talking about other people, right? So yes, this and that and that and this and this happened and that happened, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, well maybe she didn't lead by that, but maybe she'll kind of throw in her part that she played in there too. And I'm listening. I'm like, okay, and you did, yeah. So I just left. I'm like, okay, I'm probably, I'm not saying 100%, but I'm probably wasting my time with her because she's telling me already that she has no accountability whatsoever.
She has no issues.
Completely none.
Right.
Completely none, and that's a red flag for me.
Right.
When you have broken up with your ex, and I don't necessarily go back to your last relationship.
Right.
I want to know about the last. If you've been in a couple. What happened with this? What happened with that? Because I want to get a pattern. I want to see the kind of person you are.
Right.
I want to understand. So you're having the same issue with every guy.
No, I agree. I really do agree with that. And sometimes there's this saying. Well, I learned this that sometimes people are single and you got to figure out, well, why are you single? You know what I'm saying? Like, I met you single. I'm glad I met you single, but why don't you have somebody?
Exactly.
Is something wrong with you?
Because we're naturally made to have a person. Naturally.
So, especially when you've gone through a few relationships, things like that, people kind of keep an eye on that. So I understand having that conversation, but I don't think it's the best starter early on. Right. I mean, ease it in there, but not aggressively. But no, I think that when I say deeper, meaningful questions, I kind of mean like, where do you aspire to be in the next 5 years? Like,
I like that question. It's a very cliche question.
But it's a nice question to ask because think about it. If you were born and raised in DC and you meet this man that you really like, and he's like, well, I want to stay in DC for the rest of my life. I ain't never been out of this area. And it's just like, so, and then in your next 5 years, you want to be here forever. You want to stay where I want to leave. I want something more adventurous. You know what I'm saying? I feel like those are still good questions to ask. They're still good questions to ask. I thought
maybe you meant like financially, like your job. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
No. I mean,
the way this economy is alive.
No, that's the problem with this question. Because,
B, hopefully I'm working somewhere.
But see, people don't. If you ask yourself that question enough, you won't have the same cliche answer. Well, I see myself working for a Fortune 500.
Yeah, Fortune 500.
A Fortune 500 company, and I want $1 million house, and I want to drive a Bentley, and you know what I'm saying? Those, I'm being serious. Like, where do you really see yourself? Where you are right now? Like in my head, where I am as far as financially, where I am as a woman, where I live, where I am with him. I know where I would like to be literally specifically detail oriented in the next 5 years. Wow. I'm not trying to be unrealistic. Now I know God can do things unconventionally, but I'm saying where I can see myself on a track, like an Excel spreadsheet. Those are the things that you want to talk about with people, because the end of the day is you want to be able to build with somebody. You want to build with somebody.
You do. Now, let me ask you a question, because I've seen this a lot. When you initially talk to someone, one of their first questions is, or honestly, this may not necessarily be our first conversation. This may be our conversation we have that first week. And it's like, hey, like, what are your intentions? That's a really good question.
Yes.
That's always
a perfect question.
What are your intentions? Now, I feel like sometimes the man, because I'm going to speak as a man, because I'm a man, and for the most part, we have the, I guess, background, or we have this moniker on our backs that we don't really date with intentions for the most part. It's always us not dating for intentions. But I'm going to say this. Now, let's say I'm not dating for intentions. Let's say I'm not. Let's say I wasn't. Let's say I was in a relationship. We broke up. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm just dating around. I'm trying to see what I like. I'm trying to really get to know who I am as a man still. And I'm trying to just test the waters and see where I fit at. No, is that an automatic red flag for you because I said I'm not dating with intentions right now?
No, if you tell me you're not dating with intentions and you're trying to test the waters and get the booty and you're trying to flock to that.
See, and I didn't say that. I did not say that. Some men, but you see what I'm saying? It automatically goes to sex. If I'm not telling you I'm ready to marry you tomorrow, you think I only want to fuck.
Well, no, you gotta be.
You think I'm only interested in you romantically.
But
that's not true.
When I ask you what your intentions are, you need to be specific. So if your intentions are not to go the distance, then what are your intentions? Friends? Because I got enough friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for someone to X, Y, and Z. I'm dating for purpose.
So
I
got you.
So then you kind of carry it from there. But if the person's like, well, I just want to kind of see where it goes, then you need to, in your mind as a woman, for me, and people have said, to my friends, I've heard it, all of the things. Oh, I want to see where this goes. I just want to take it slow. They don't really know where they are in life. So it's like you have to be careful with your feelings.
Okay.
Because if you're on a different page where you know what you want, you don't want to mess with people that are kind of in the middle and they don't really know what they want. So you have to be careful with that.
And see, I slightly agree with that, because I believe sometimes you can date or do things not at first with intent, but you can meet a person that can alter what you're intentionally doing now.
Right.
For example, some people don't want to have kids.
Right.
I kind of chuck that up to some people who have been with, I'm going to use men, for example, have been with girls who they feel may not be a great mother. Right. That's why he doesn't really want to have kids.
Right.
Now, if I meet a woman who I think, you know what, she's not like my last two, I actually see something in her.
Right.
You would probably really be a good mother. I've always been ready to be a good father, but it takes two to tango, right?
Right.
Now, my intentions now change because you have changed them, because I understand, I've gotten to know the kind of person you are.
Right.
So I may not be dating with intentions when I first meet you. I may not be. But we're dating. I'm serious. As long as I'm serious. Being a man about my word. I'm communicating. I think in due time, if you're the right one, I think you can alter and change my intent now. Because now I feel like, you know what? Without putting my hand on it, without knowing who you are, she's actually what I've been looking for all this time.
Right. No, and now, I
agree. I came in with a heavy heart and I wasn't sure.
Right.
But now that I got to know the kind of woman you are, my intentions are completely different.
Right. No, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And
so I think you can't necessarily write a person completely off when they tell you I don't have really much intent at this moment.
Right.
But it can grow and it can change.
No, I agree. You can definitely change your mind, especially when you hang out with somebody. What do you tell me? You're always gonna find the good in somebody. You're always you can start to get attached. You know, I'm just saying from a standpoint of me, like I'm an emotional woman off bucks and
off the bat.
I am. And I like submissiveness. I like cooking. I like spending time. I like talking. I like doing all those things. So it's like if somebody says to me, I don't know, I'm kind of shaky. There's a reason behind that though.
It's
Nobody wants to be alone. I don't care how much you think you want to be alone.
You
don't want to be alone. You want to be alone because you don't trust someone to do X, Y, and Z, or you don't feel like someone's competent enough to be able to match what you're on. It's a mind thing where you're like, you know what? I'd rather just be alone because I don't want to deal with this person. I don't want to have to change my ways. It's always a reason behind something.
Right.
So when I hear people say that too, I also think like there's a reason. There's something going on.
Right.
With you or whatever it is you experience, it's something.
When you hear what?
I'm not really, I don't really know what I want to do. I'm kind of just, let's see where it goes.
Right.
X, Y, and Z. You have something that you've experienced, something that's going on with you. Sometimes people use loneliness as an avoidance with other people because they know that they're selfish or they're comfortable with whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's always a reason behind that statement. It's never just because I don't know. It's something.
Right.
I don't have the money or whatever it is. Like, I don't know if I want to share. It's something.
I'll be honest. I don't really think, and I ask you, like, what questions do you think are appropriate? I don't think there ain't really any question that's off the table because you can meet someone and the conversation can shift and go into a direction that neither one of you had planned on it going in. And it can just naturally come out. And when you're really vibing with a person and you're talking, you start saying things that person didn't even ask you about.
Yeah.
But you feel some sense of comfort. You're having a good time. They either look good, they smell good. They have a head on their shoulders, be for man or woman. And I found myself just spewing information. You're not even asking me questions, and I'm just telling you information.
I just feel
and
like
that can kind of be that can be a good place to be in because it kind of shows the transparency up front.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to go into all your business. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that you can sometimes meet a person and it can really come off as if you've known them for quite a long time.
Yeah, it can.
Because the conversation is just flowing so freely.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, before you look up, it's been 2 or 3 hours and they know half your life story. But it felt real and you felt okay with sharing that.
Right.
Because of how the energy was. And I think that's why I think if you just are always working on yourself when you are not in a relationship, and even when you are dating, it doesn't stop there. Continue to work on yourself, being honest, being upfront, be a transparent person. And when you give energy out, with energy you give is the energy you'll be receiving back. And you'll start to run into people and those people will start to stick and be involved in your life for a very long time because that's the kind of person you are.
Right.
You reap what you sow.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think men are definitely my number one answer. We're insecure as a group, as men. We're insecure, which is why we're always so aggressive. And B, I think because we feel like, and I do think men feel like they're the catch a lot too.
Yeah, they do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And I don't think so either. I think men and women are the catch. When we can stop being so sexist and stop feeling like because she's a female, she's a prize, or because he's a man, he has to work hard all day and he has to pay for everything. The minute we start to really understand what a relationship is, because we're at this point, we're trying to clearly be with someone, which is why the conversation sparked. When we can realize, look, wherever I am needed or wherever I can fit in or put myself to use, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll my sleeves up and do that. And I think once that happens between two people, that's when you get 50 years of marriage from.
Yeah.
That's where you get, we had some hard and troubling times, but he never stopped taking his eyes off of me. And I never stopped taking my eyes off of him.
Right.
And I understood I'm not in this to love myself. I'm in this to love the opposite.
Right.
But it has to be a link. It has to flow. You guys have to literally, it has to come together. It can't be one-sided. You guys both have to have that mindset. And when you have that mindset, the sky's the limit.
I agree.
It is. But you had a question for me, you said, before we started this.
Oh, I had a teaser question, and now that we've gotten into it so far. I don't have the teaser anymore.
Why? Where is it?
I don't know. It just kind of left my mind. But I have another question that I can ask you. What is it? We talked about pickup lines earlier.
Was it a good pickup line? I got like
I was going to ask you if you had pickup lines because I'm just like, you don't strike me for a pickup line kind of guy at all. So I was like, did you ever try one and be like, never doing this again?
I'll be honest. I may have. That's funny. I may have try to pick up line, but because I heard it somewhere else, like, hey girl, you must be tired. Why? Because you've been running through my mind all night. Or like, hey girl, you must be
You're not even saying it
from Tennessee, huh?
You're not even saying it like you want to say it.
You must be from Tennessee. Why you say that? Because you're the only 10 I see. Like stupid stuff like that. No, I've never done nothing like that.
Yeah, you didn't strike me for that, but I just,
I walk up. My go-to is always is just, I swear, it's assertiveness. Mm-hmm. It's just strong assertiveness with a smile, eye contact, and a handshake. I swear, if you get past those three, if you tell me no after those three, I don't know. It must not be my night.
I like the calmness and chill attitude though too. Like when we met, it's not forceful because I don't want people to get assertiveness confused with force.
Well, they're two different words. Why would
but people sometimes when they when they hear the word assertive, like they kind of like,
no,
I'm not trying to like,
and it's funny you say that.
Be that I'm just saying like what I'm saying is definitive, and like we have icons. Like, right. I understand what you mean by that.
And I think people, that's funny you say that, because I think sometimes people get confidence misconstrued with arrogance. And I tell people all the time, arrogance to me means you think you're a better person than they are. Confidence to me means I think no matter what, I am still in love with who I am as a person. Two different things. And I see that people who aren't as confident are the ones who are always calling the confident people arrogant. I just so arrogant. Why am I arrogant? Because I'm doing things that you think about that you can execute on. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason or only way you'll call me arrogant is because you don't have as much confidence as I do. Only reason. I've never called another confident man arrogant. I think he's highly sure of himself. Mm-hmm. I think he believes in his capabilities, what he's doing, what he's achieving. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't necessarily mean like with just money or things, but the way he walks, the way he talks, when he has nothing, is he the same person? Like all of those things to me, if I see that in someone, I'm like, man, you know what? That's exactly how a person should be. And this is for men and women.
It depends for me. Just for me personally, I feel like someone doesn't have to be arrogant, but they can make arrogant statements. Okay. And sometimes confidence can exude that. Not purposely, but sometimes you can be offensive based off things you say, which is where people tend to get this like, well, you're arrogant, da, da, da. Mm-hmm. So I understand both of them, because I think, I think it's fine, obviously, to be confident, but I think there's a very fine line where your confidence can get your tongue tied into arrogant statements sometimes. So you just have to watch. That. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I understand that. And I do understand the line. But I think also that comes from emotion. I think sometimes people who don't have, first of all, people who haven't been through, built, or who've strided their way through anything. Like if you've never literally built something from the ground up, or if you've never, worked, saved your money, bought a house, paid the mortgage, like you tend not to have an appreciation for it. Yeah. And I think people who haven't built and who haven't gone through certain things in life, they tend to be a little bit more thin-skinned than those who have. Those who've been through a little fire, been through a little fight, been through a little rough patch in life, they tend to be a little bit more withstanding because they understand how life is. And that's where I think sometimes, and again, it brings me back to being confident and being arrogant. A person who's confident, it just takes so much pride in having to do everything on their own. They took so much pride in building so much on their own that if you think for 1 second you're going to put them down, if you think for 1 second you're going to say something or act as if they're unsure of themselves, I think that is very offensive to them. So again, it's all about your walks of life, where you've been in life, what you've done in life, and your experiences. Your experiences shape and mold who we are. But I think if back to just the point of the conversation is if we all are working on ourselves. And I don't think that women should be as mean when men are approaching them. I think you guys should be a little bit more humble. I think women sometimes, again, like I said earlier, I think you guys think you are a little bit more ahead in life than you really are. And I don't necessarily mean with things and money and and clout. I just mean as a person. When you can't take accountability for small things, when you can't say I'm sorry for small things, when you find pleasure and you find enjoyment in neglect or rejection just for the heck of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about just for pure, just to say it, just to say it, just to say, you know what? I was the one that gave him a hard time today. I was the one that made his night a little less enjoyable. I did that. And to take joy in that, that's a problem to me. That's a problem to me. And what it does is it carries over into your relationship. And then you start to find women who are single. They've been single. They keep going through men after men after men after men. No man, wants them. Every man's playing games. And when you look at it, those type of women tend to hang around women who are the exact same way. If I promise you, if you look at women that I'm describing, their friends are single. Their women and their family members, the women in their family, most of the time, not all, but some of them are single. The girls that they tend to attach themselves to at work and have a real close bond with, they're single. And you start to look at, dang, well, this is a pattern. Yeah, but you attract what you are. I'm only attracting that because that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of person I am. So I relate, and I can find comfort in being a girl being in the same position I'm in, because look, girl, we both out here. We thugging that out. You know what I'm saying? We hitting the club every night. We going out every weekend, and they take pride in that. That's why I think for me to be better, to get better at stuff like that, you have to separate yourself and make yourself uncomfortable, and attach yourself to somebody or to something, and to groups of people who are a lot smarter, wiser, and who are ahead of you. And I don't necessarily mean just with things and money and cars and clothes and shoes. I mean the way they think. They don't have a one track mind. They think with their heart. They think with their brain. They're not self-centered. They tend to not be selfish at all. They tend to be a lot more giving. They'll sacrifice themselves to make sure everyone else around them is more comfortable. And when you start to attach yourself with people like that, it'll start to peel off the layers of you that may not fit that group. And before you know it, you're like, you know what? Dang, I am a little stuck up. Dang, I am a little harsh sometimes. Dang, I lie a lot. But when you're around girls who lie a lot, you don't think you're doing nothing wrong. Because all y'all lying. And to you, this is the way it works. Now, morally it's wrong to lie, but you're like, I don't care. Because no one's holding you accountable in your circle. That's why your circle is important, which is another topic. Your circle, so important. The people you hang around, the people you associate yourself with, the people you um, allow into your home, into your space. Like, all of that matters when you're dating. All of that matters, and people don't think it starts with so much. And I promise you, the circle, your circumference, that's a circle. The things around you, where you go to meet people, sometimes matters. If I'm looking for a doctor, I haven't seen too many doctors in a strip club. I'm not saying they haven't gone. I'm not saying they haven't been. I'm just saying, on average, you may not catch a doctor in a strip club. And it's funny because you guys are looking for these high value men, but you're going to these low value establishments, and you're looking for it. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So that's just my take on um approaching and fleeing and flocking, flocking and fleeing. Mm-hmm.
Yes, let us know what you guys.
But I hope you flock to me. I hope you don't flee from me. We may be flocking together now, but times are gonna come, and we've been through a couple things in a couple years we've been together, and it's very important that we understand that we are practicing what we talk about on camera. Like I said before, yes. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you guys feel. Tell us what your craziest moment has been, woman. Tell me the craziest thing a guy's ever said to you. And men, tell me the craziest thing you've ever said to a woman. We want to hear it all. Let us know. But it's been real. It's evolution of us.